Hello dear student, today I am going to teach you the remaining part of the chapter number 4, Transpiration, from credit number 1st, subject Plant Physiology. So, in today's lecture, I am dealing with subtopics, factors affecting the rate of transpiration, significance of transpiration, antitranspirant, gutation and exudation. So the student, firstly, I am focusing here factors affecting the rate of transpiration. So the student, I am here divided the factors into the two different types, external factor and internal factor. Firstly, I am explaining here the external factor. So the external factor like as temperature, light, atmospheric humidity, atmospheric pressure, soil water, air current. Then internal factor like as a size of leaf, coating of cuticle, wax, cutin, number and the size of stomata per unit area, water content of mesophyll cell and the root shoot ratio. So the student, I am focusing here one by one in briefly. Here the temperature, the water evaporates more at high temperature than at low temperature. As a result of increasing the temperature, the ultimately increase the rate of transpiration. But in a cotton and onion, there is a decline in a stomatal opening at temperature exceeding 30 degree. So the temperature is more, then rate of transpiration is more. Temperature is low, then rate of transpiration is also low. But here the onion and cotton plant, when the temperature goes exceed the 30 degree, then stomatal opening get decline. So the next external factor is a light. The light affect the rate of transpiration by two different ways. First, by increase the temperature, light increase the rate of transpiration. Okay, it is light, it's shows their positive effect on the transpiration. The light intensity increases, ultimately the rate of transpiration is increases. Then second way, the light affect the opening and closing of stomata by increasing or decreasing the turgidity of the guard cell. Stomata normally open during the daylight and close during the night. So in a cam plants, there's a crassulian acid metabolism plant. The stomata are closed during the daytime and the stomata remain open only at night. Even bright moonlight that induces the opening of stomata in some plant. In many plants, the stomata are closed at midnight if the plant are wilted. The stomata of cereals open only for 1 to 2 hours during the daytime. Even the quality of light affect the opening and closing of stomata. The stomata are closed in a far red and the ultraviolet light maximum. Opening of the stomata occur in the presence of red and blue light. So the student, the light intensity, it also shows positive as well as negative effect on the opening of the stomata and ultimately they affect the rate of transpiration. The next factor is atmospheric humidity. When the atmosphere is humid, the transpiration naturally less. If the air is dry or the humidity is dry or less, the rate of transpiration is more. The rate of transpiration is inversely proportional to the humidity in the atmosphere. Then next factor, the atmospheric pressure. If the atmospheric pressure is high, the rate of transpiration is low because increase in the density of air. If atmospheric pressure is lower, the rate of transpiration is higher. Thus, the rate of transpiration is inversely proportional to the atmospheric pressure. So the next external factor is the soil water. The water content of the soil. The plant absorbed the enough amount of water if the water is available in the soil. If the rate of absorption is less, ultimately it decreases the rate of transpiration. The soil water controls the rate of transpiration. Means here the soil water or rate of absorption is directly proportional to the rate of transpiration. So the next external factor, the last factor is the air current, or it is also called the wind velocity. When wind blows, it removes the water vapor from the vicinity of the plant. As a result of this, the humidity of surrounding air near the plant decreases. When humidity near the plant decreases, the rate of transpiration increases. But at very high wind velocity, the stomata are closed. So the student, this is regarding to the external factor. So the next internal factors, the first factor is the size of leaf. The rate of transpiration increases if the leaf size is a more, but the leaf size is a less or small size, they reduce the rate of transpiration. So the rate of transpiration is reduced by reducing the leaf size as in a xerophytic plant. So the next, there is a coating of cuticle, wax cutin. Coating of cuticle, wax cutin, etc. on the leaf surface reduce the rate of transpiration, because that cuticle wax or cutin coating, it's helps to keep the inner mesophyll cells cooler, means they absorb the or maximum heat, and the heat cannot be reaches towards the cells. Then the number and the size of stomata per unit area. The rate of transpiration is also depends upon the stomata per unit area. The number of stomata varies from 50 to 300 per square mm. If the number of stomata is more, then ultimately the rate of transpiration is also more. In addition, if the stomatal aperture is large, the rate of transpiration is also more. So the number and size of stomata, it is also affect the rate of transpiration. Then next internal factor is water content of mesophyll cell. So the water lost in the form of vapor during the transpiration is actually lost from the mesophyll cell of the leaf. When there is a less water in the mesophyll cell, the rate of transpiration is reduced considerably. Then the last internal factor is root to shoot ratio. The rate of transpiration is also increases with increasing the root shoot ratio. So sorghum, in Marathi we call the jawar, has a more extensive root system than that of the corn plant. Hence, when we compare the in a sorghum plant, the rate of transpiration is more as compared to the maize plant or corn plant. The sorghum root system provide the more water to its shoots than the corn plant, and thus the rate of transpiration is directly proportional to the root shoot ratio of that plant. So the student, this is regarding to the factors affecting the rate of transpiration. So the next subtopic is significance of transpiration. So the circulation of water in the plant body, absorption of water and minerals and their distribution in the plant body, regulating the temperature of the plant body, increase the concentration of solutes and osmotic pressure, transpiration as a necessary evil. So the student, we see here one by one significance of transpiration. The first, circulation of water in the plant body. The process of the transpiration develops a continuous water stream from root to the aerial parts of the plant, and therefore it increases the rapidly of water translocation from root to shoot. The upward movement of the water, it's help in the better growth and the photosynthesis of the water. Then second, absorption of minerals and their distribution in the plant body. So the transpiration is directly proportional to the rate of absorption of water and minerals, because when the rate of transpiration increases, then ultimately the rate of water absorption is also increases. Transpiration stream, which extend from the root to the leaf, bring more rapid transport of mineral nutrients by the mass flow of water through the xylem tissue, and this transpiration may also indirectly facilitate ascent of sap. Then next significance is regulating the temperature of the plant. So the transpiration plays a very important role in keeping the plant cool. The leaf is able to absorb about 65% of the light that fall on it. Here the 10% light being reflected from the surface of the leaf and about 25% enter into the mesophyll cell. Means here the light energy, it is converted into the heat energy, and this heat, it is absorbed by the presence of water content in the protoplasm of that mesophyll cell, and this transpiration is a very useful to plant, and it's regulate the temperature of the plant and prevent its overheating. The cooling effect of transpiration keep the plant from being overheated. So the plant protect, or the cells tissues protected from mechanical injuries. It is created by the heat. Then the next, increases in the concentration of solute and osmotic pressure. High rate of transpiration causes increase in the concentration of solute and osmotic pressure of the plant. The increase the sugar content with which improve the quality of fruit. Such a fruit have higher dry matter content. So the last significance of transpiration is transpiration as a necessary evil. Water is of the vital importance to the plant life. So under the condition of the deficient water supply, loss of water by the transpiration become a very serious problem. Transpiration has been described as a necessary evil. The leaf structure with thin wall mesophyll cell and the intracellular space help to retain the water, and stomata develop for the fixation of carbon dioxide and exchange of gases through the external atmosphere, and that's why the transpiration as a necessary evil. So this is regarding to the significance of transpiration. So the student, the next part is the antitranspirant. First, I'm focusing here the introduction and definition. So due to the excessive loss of water through the transpiration result in temporarily and the permanent wilting occurred within the plant body. So hence it is necessary to reduce the rate of transpiration by artificial means. The use of antitranspirant is a highly economic and important in agriculture. So the student, what is antitranspirant? The antitranspirants are nothing but the chemicals applied to the plant to reduce the rate of transpiration are called the antitranspirant or the transpirant suppressant. This is the first definition. The second definition is any material applied to the plants for purpose of the retarding transpiration without affecting the carbon dioxide fixation in a photosynthesis or on the plant growth is called the anti-transpirant. So the student, these are the two definitions of anti-transpirant. The anti-transpirant are nothing but the chemicals or the group of chemicals or a group of material that ceases or that stop or that suppress the transpiration process within the plant body. So the properties of the good antitranspirant are: it should prevent the loss of water without affecting oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange of gases. Then it should not damage the stomatal apparatus permanently. It should not affect photosynthesis and other plant processes. The chemically it should be easily available and the eco-friendly. Then it must have effect only on the guard cell. So these are the some properties of good anti-transpirant. So the student, I'm showing here some bottles. Okay, so these are the anti-transpirant. It is available in market and it is extensively used in a field of agriculture. So here the students, the antitranspirant specifically categorized under the two different types. So the depending on the nature and the mode of action, the antitranspirant are categorized into the film forming compounds, that is a physical barrier antitranspirant, and the stomatal inhibitor antitranspirant. This is the second type. So the first is the type 1 antitranspirants, film forming physical barrier antitranspirant. So they form the important group of antitranspirant, the colorless plastids, then silicones, oil, and the low viscosity waxes. When we spread on the leaves, it's forming the very fine film permeable to carbon dioxide and oxygen but not for water. And these causes there is a partial closure of stomata. So these are the first type. Then the second type of the antitranspirants are the stomatal inhibitors. The fungicide like as a phenyl mercuric acetate, it is 10 raised to minus 4 molar, is the most widely used stomata closing type of antitranspirant. So when this phenyl mercuric acetate is sprayed, its result in the partial close of stomata for more than week. And then second stomatal inhibitor is a abscisic acid. It is a growth retardant. Abscisic acid, it is a stress hormone. It is also result in the partial closure of stomata. Nowadays, the salicylic acid and the aspirin are used as antitranspirant on a large scale. So the student, you also keep in your mind these examples. At certain concentration of carbon dioxide acts as an antitranspirant. The increase the carbon dioxide concentration from here the natural 0.03 to 0.05% induce the partial closure of stomata. So the carbon dioxide not only acts as antitranspirant but also inhibit the photorespiration. So the student, this is the second type of stomatal inhibitors. So the application of antitranspirant. So the student, these antitranspirant are widely used in agriculture for various purposes. First, it is applied on a field crops. In place there is a facing of water scarcity, the field crop producing or there is a productivity can be very increased by the spraying of antitranspirant. So during the drought condition, this antitranspirant will save the crop from damage due to the water loss. Then second, the transport of fruit plants. So when the seedling of the fruit trees are to be transported to long distance, then these antitranspirant are useful because The transpiration damage the young root of the seedling and the sapling will remain fresh and healthy. The mortality rate also be less. Then the fruit cracks. Antitranspirant prevent the fruit crack of several fruit because they reduce the absorption of water by fruit during the rainfall. Thus, they save the fruit from cracking. The yield and quality of fruit will not be affected. Then next application on ornamental plants. Some antitranspirant it's form a very thin film on the surface of the leaves. Such antitranspirants are used to save the ornamental plants from desiccation. The flowers and the foliage will remain fresh for longer days. It spray with the antitranspirant and especially during the flower shows. Then next, keeping the flower fresh. Antitranspirant can be sprayed on the plucked flower or harvested flower to keep them fresh for a longer time. This will increase the vast life of the flower. And the last application, it is the lawn development. Antitranspirant are often sprayed on the lawn grass to save the grass from drying when there is a scarcity of water or owner is not on the tour for the longer time and the watering will not be possible at that time, then this lawn development or on that lawn grass we will provide this anti-transparent spray. Then next we focusing here the gutation and the excudation. First, gutation. So the term gutation was a first used by the Bergstein. During this process, water exudes from the plant in the form of liquid. So what is a gutation? Gutation may be defined as the loss of water in a liquid form from the uninjured tips or from the margin of the leaves. See, this is the regarding to the gutation. Gutation has not been observed in all plants. About 333 genera belonging to the 115 different plant families gutated. For example, grasses, then oat, Colocasia, Nephrolepis, it is a fern, Equisetum, pteridophyte, okay. So tomato, barley, potato, strawberry, okay. This plant, it shows the more rate of the guttation. The amount of guttation, water is negligible as compared to the transpiration. Guttation is manifested due to the development of the root pressure. So see here on the margin of the leaves, okay, see there is a water droplets are distinctly seen, okay. Then see here the margin of the leaves, see this is the equisetum, okay. See there is the water droplets are there, the loss of water droplets through the margin of the leaves or the tip of the grasses, okay, from uninjured part. Then see the guttation, water is exuded from group of the leaf cell, it is called the hydathode. So the student, hydathodes are present in the leaf epidermis and these hydathode around which the are grouped into the several thin walled parenchyma cell. See the student, this is the structure of hydathode, okay. See this is the trachees, then above that there is epitheme is there, these are the specialized cell, and see this is the above there is some space is there and here the guard cell, okay. There are the present at the tip of the vein ending of the leaves. See the position of the hydathode, the hydathodes are present at the tip of vein ending of the leaves. So the loosely arranged mass of parenchyma cell of the hydathode, it is called the epitheme. Hydathode are also known as water stomata or it is also called as water glands. Haberland has found the two types of hydathode in a plant. First, there is a epitheme hydathode. In this hydathode, water is forced out by the root pressure. And the second type of hydathode, it is active hydathode. In this type of hydathode, water is secreted by the forced development within the cell themselves. See, then generally gutation takes place when the conditions are such that the absorption of water is greatly exceeds the transpiration and the excess water is exuded out. The drops of water are often found on the tips of grasses, blades in the morning. Okay. Then these gutted drop of the water have been found containing the various kinds of enzymes are present within that water drop. Gutted drop, it consisting the variety of enzyme, sugars, amino acids, organic acids, vitamins, and other organic compound, mineral salts, etc. The gutted water may contain 0.05 to 0.5% of inorganic and organic solutes. So the student next sub point, it is exudation, or it is also called as a bleeding. So the exude is derived from the exude, it is to ooze. The bleeding means the oozing out of watery sap from injured part. So the student in a guttation there is uninjured part, and here in exudation there is injured part of the stem or root. There is a bleeding of the water. So the Nogel and the Treach in 1976 categorized the exudation in four classes. The first, the exudation due to the development of positive root pressure in the xylem vessel. In this, exude is a xylem sap. Then exudation due to the local pressure developed in the surrounding of injury. In this, exclude is a xylem sap, and this xylem sap, it is a contain 2 to 3% of sugar. Then third type, exudation due to the developed in the stem when incision is made in the phloem cell. Here, exude is a phloem sap. It is in a palm tree. Sap contains 20% of the sugar, and therefore the fresh, it is also called as a toddy of palm, or the date palm is sweet. The exudation due to the occurs when the incised is made in a latissiferous duct which are distributed in the cortex, then pith region and secondary tissues of the stem of the some plant. So the plants family like a Papaver, then Ephobiaceae, Asclepiadaceae, then Abies gymnosperm. Here the exude is a latex. So the student, you know the rubber plant, then how that sabudana it is made. Okay, so sabudana it is nothing but the exclude. Okay, then rubber it is also the exclude of the latex in angiospermic plant. And see this abyss, it secretes the, that means it exclude the uh, resin. Okay, the resin it is a exclude specifically produced by the gymnosperm plant. See, this is regarding, see this is the specifically it's the stem part, it is injured. Okay, the purposefully injured the stem part, and from that there is a the latex, it is a exude. Okay, it is regarding to the rubber plant. Okay, then same, there is a rubber plant. Okay, this exude it is a consisting the milky latex, and then the processing out of this milky latex, and then there is a formation of rubber. So student, you get a clear idea, or you get a clear picture regarding to the gutation and exudation. In a gutation there is the uninjured part, and in a exudation there is a that whatever secretions are there, okay, or whatever bleeding is there, it is through the injured part. Okay, so the student, I am just here the focusing on transpiration and evaporation process. So the transpiration is a physical process, while See, the transpiration, it is a physiological process, while the evaporation is a physical process. So the transpiration is a vital phenomena, the loss of water in the form of vapor through the stomata, cuticle or lenticels, while the diffusion process from the water surface to the atmosphere in a evaporation. So in a transpiration, water is given out in the form of water vapor, while water is lost in a diffusion form in a evaporation process. Then fourth, the rate of transpiration is directly proportional to the rate of water absorption in a transpiration. In a evaporation is directly proportional to the available area. Then in a transpiration, it's regulate the temperature and prevent the overheating, while in a evaporation, it increases the temperature of the plant body. So the next difference between gutation and exudation. So the student, the gutation, it is specifically occurred at the night time, while the exudation, it's occurred during the both daytime as well as night time. So in a gutation, water is given out in the form of water dews or droplets. Then in exudation, water is given out in the form of liquid, or it is in the form of latex or sap. So the gutation takes place through the hydrothode or water stomata or water gland, while the exudation, it takes place through the injured part of the plant. Gutation, the gutated drops of the water contain organic and inorganic substances, while the exuded sap containing sugar, latex, rubber or nira or tadi. The gutated product has a less economic value in the market, while the exuded product have a more economic value in the market. So the student, this is regarding to the difference between gutation and exudation. So the long answer type question asked on this topic, the transpiration chapter. Here, what is a transpiration? Explain the effect of various factors influencing the rate of transpiration. Then describe the mechanism of opening and closing of stomata. Explain the Stewart hypothesis of opening and closing stomata. Discuss the potassium pump theory of opening and closing of stomata. Then the differentiate between the transpiration and evaporation, and discuss the factor affecting the rate of transpiration. Then what is a transpiration? Explain the significance and types of transpiration. Give the structure of stomata and add a note on mechanism of opening and closing of stomata. What are the antitranspirant? Add a note on a gutation and exudation. So the student, this is regarding to the long answer question. It is specifically asked in your examination. Then the short answer type question, like as a define transpiration, what is an antitranspirant, give the difference between gutation and bleeding, what is a bleeding or what is a exudation in a plant, and list any four external factor affecting the rate of transpiration, mention any four internal forces that influence the rate of transpiration, briefly give the significance of transpiration, how you will differentiate between the transpiration and gutation, what is a cuticular and lenticular transpiration, give any four applications of the antitranspirant, mention the characteristic of antitranspirant, and list any four properties of antitranspirant. So the student, this is regarding to the short answer question. So the write a short note on transpiration is a necessary evil, then Stewart theory of interconversion of starch and sugar, potassium pump theory, antitranspirant, gutation, bleeding, exudation, factors affecting the rate of transpiration, significance of transpiration, and structure of stomata. So the student, this is regarding to the short note on this chapter number 4. So the student, this way our chapter number 4 is over here. You have any doubt, any difficulty, you can freely ask me on our Google Classroom. So the student, all these questions, you solve all these questions in your notebook, make a PDF and send me that PDF on our Google Classroom. So in a next lecture, we will focus on the chapter number 5 from the credit number second. The name of the chapter is the nitrogen metabolism. Thank you.